What? What? Uh-oh. Wow. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel once again. I'm going to explain to you how to save thousands of dollars as a conductor if you think about going to NorFolk Southern and then going to CSX. I'm going to wait for y'all to come in here. Talk about money and I show up. No, Daryl, it's just to help. You've already went through the process, I believe, but it's the stuff that they don't tell you until you get to school about if you're going to quit and go to CSX or quit to go to BNSF, how much money you got to fork out. It's actually, I completely forgot about this. I knew that you had to owe them money if you did this thing, but I forgot how or what it was. It's been so long. And a guy named Chris on this NorFolk Southern page reminded me of exactly what it was. But I'll just repeat myself because I'm sure people's gonna come in and ask. But let me find it real quick. There it is. Y'all can see exactly what I'm looking at right here. So Chris Bailey asks, I'm sure y'all can read this. I'll just read it for you though. As an employer that's ever invested in me, expected a return to their investment, so to speak, or you have to literally repay them. Is there an expectation to stay on with NS for a specific period of time once you've been trained? And I forgot about this, but yeah, you have to stay there unless you get furloughed or I think if they fire you. Chris, he just left from school. I don't know if he's in here. He may not be, but he just got out of school, and he said there's no stipulation on how long you have to stay. But if you quit to go to another Class 1 road, then you have to pay back like $5,000 for class. If you get laid off and then go to another road during that time, then you don't have to pay anything. And that's right. When I was furloughed, they told me that I could go wherever I wanted to go. But yeah, I remember them telling us why this happened. Once you remember this, it jogged my memory. But I remember the class. I don't know if any of y'all have been in class, but Spencer Tinsley, he works in Birmingham. But they told us that CSX and some of the BN guys in UP, they would actually send their guys to conductor school for NS, and then they would quit and then go back to work for them. Or like they would somehow, I don't know how they did it. I guess that they told their guys to apply for NS, and if they got hired, they go to school and then leave and then come to us. This is what they told us. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds kind of right, I guess, for most class ones. We don't want to pay you to train you, so go let NS waste their time training you, and then you can come back to us and we'll pay you more money. Yeah, I pulled up the railroad news. All the stuff that's going on freightways. That's what I look at every day. And this is always good. Good to see right here. Peak season, let the chaos commence. As we reach the holidays. It's going to get, I believe it's going to get pretty crazy this year. Hopefully. For all of y'all's sake. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Jeremiah, I don't think so. I think CSX, I really believe a lot of these class ones, really, I know of a lot of guys that left and went to BN. I know a lot of guys that left and went to CSX and UP, and I think they really look for that stuff. Hey, Jenny, I got furloughed. I think I need to make a video on this, but I'll tell you my theory as to why I was furloughed in 2019. So, PSR, Precision Scheduling Railroading, was created from a guy named Hunter Harrison. He was actually the CEO, I think, of all the major class ones. UP at one point in time, or CN, one of those. But the main one was CSX, and this is when I was with NS. And he created this. All it is a strategy, and it's how to combine trains into one. It cuts down your cost on crews, and so that way, it just saves money. It saves the bottom dollar. Your quarterly profits will go up, but you're also running the dog crap out of your engines. But they did this, and NS took that PSR this strategy, and I believe what they did was they had to sell their shareholders because it didn't work in the past. So this is what I think NS did. They told their shareholders we're going to take Hunter Harrison's strategy and we're going to turn it into our own. And what they did was they started overhiring in 2018. I hired in 2017, September 2017. They were extremely short-handed, but they started overhiring in 2018, and they hired a crap ton of people. And then they had this massive furlough, right? They furloughed thousands of employees. And I think what they did was is they tried to trick their shareholders into showing them, hey, our strategy works better than CSX or the UP, and it's actually working because it just not their quarterly profits. Let me show you NS's stock real quick. I can show you exactly when all this happened. You can say it's 259. When I was there, it was 170. Let's go back 5 years. 2017. Here we go. I hired in September 2017. And you see these dips, but it just really grew. Of course, this right here, that's all COVID, but it just really started to grow, and I think that was their plan. They overhired to furlough a bunch of people to try and prove themselves that their strategy worked better than Hunter Harrison. Hunter Harrison's now dead, but I think that's what happened. And when I transferred from Sheffield down to Birmingham, I gave up my seniority. And when they started the massive layoffs, I got caught up in it. Versus if I would have stayed in Muscle Shoals, I'd have been fine. I think I would have got furloughed in Muscle Shoals, but it only would have been for a few months. But to answer your question, does NS furlough often? No. The last furlough that I was told of was back in 2008, at least down here in our division. Transfer anything over to a new company? I don't think so. I think you just, what in the world are you doing, buddy? I think you just go over there and just go through their training process, learn their signals. CSX signals are really strange. I had to learn them whenever I was on the East End. It was crazy. This derailment that NS had here recently in Georgia, and it looked pretty crazy. Get off my screen! No. Where's that? Really? I was trying to look at pictures of a derailment. I was just looking at them. Why are they trying to make me sign in now? Oh my goodness. Just sign in. Look at all my YouTube channels I got. Jeannie, have you heard anything yet from anybody? Or are you still patiently waiting? Here we go. This was a Norfolk Southern. I want to see. 32 cars. Sheesh. Wasn't on our track. We have 280 people. Occurred around 1 a.m. blocking Central Drive. No injuries were reported. Didn't say whether it was carrying cargo. Well, it doesn't seem like they were. They seem empty to me. There's nothing anywhere. Still waiting. All right, fingers crossed. Hopefully it'll work out. Jeannie, I don't know if you heard me say in the very beginning here, but so the whole title of this little live stream is how I can save you thousands of dollars. And what they don't tell you in your email whenever you get a CJO, whenever you get to school, they'll tell you, hey, if you go work for NS and you quit to go work for, let's say, CSX or UP or BN, you'll have to pay NS $5,000. Versus if you're laid off, or I think it's if you're laid off or you're fired. I think if you get fired or laid off, you can go anywhere you want to. But that, I completely forgot about that until yesterday when Chris mentioned it on Facebook. You probably read it, actually, because you're in that group. I want to click on these pictures. Holy cow, what a mess. Wow, where's the track? That one little bitty fire extinguisher. I wonder if I could find the derailment that happened on our tracks in Muscle Shoals. There was two. Well, there was one where this is from our front yard. Well, I missed your house by just a little bit. What? No, don't eat that. No, no. Nasty. It says if you're partially blind in one eye, but your other eye makes up for your eye. I'll be honest with you, selfish. I'm not sure if they would hire you or not. I feel like if you can pass the color blindness test, I don't see why they couldn't. I know they are extremely. See, they used to be extremely strict with eyesight because they didn't have. We didn't have PTC, or we did, but it was trash. You don't even need eyesight now. As long as you can look at like a monitor, a computer monitor, you're good to go. But I don't know. I would give it a shot. I mean, at least apply and try. The worst thing they can tell you is no, but at least you know, you tried, and you won't have that question in the back of your head saying, "Man, I wonder if I could have made it." Daryl, yes, I did have job insurance. I had $250 a day. I think it was like forgot how much it was a month, like $140 a month or something like that. And I never got to use it. The whole 3 years I was there, I never got to use any of it. When I knew they were going to furlough, I almost, seriously, I almost thought about derailing a car and getting fired just so I could draw my railroad unemployment, and my whammy, because I would have made way more money. You got to think $250 a day plus $700 every 2 weeks. Oh, just wonder if they said to give it about 5 days. I can't remember how long it took. How long it took for mine to come back. I wonder if I can find it. I bet I can. Of course, that's been so long ago. I'm sure. I would hope the process has became a lot quicker than what it was, because the whole process for me took about 6 months for me to get my start date. But it was because there were so many people going to class. Let's see, Michael Larkin, where you at? There we go. Hey, go on. Whoa. Hope I'm still alive. I don't know if I am or not. Am I still alive? I am still alive. Wow. My son just pushed my power button on my computer. All right. Where was I? I am still alive. Wow. Oh yeah. My son just pushed my power button on my computer. I'm trying to find the email and let you know how long. Where was I? I am still alive. Wow. Oh yeah. My son just pushed my power button on my computer. I'm trying to find the email and let you know how long. AOL. Long. Where's my computer? Oh yeah. Still alive. Good. Let's see. AOL. Long. Let me see if I can find an email. I know it's still in here because I saved it. Because it was like, let's see. My proudest moments. I worked so hard to get that email, and I finally got it. Still in here because I saved it. Because it was like, let's see. My proudest moments. I worked so hard to get that email, and I finally got it. Still in here because I saved it. Because it was like, weird echo on the audio. Really? I worked so hard to get that email, and I finally got it. Still in here because I saved it. Because it was like, weird echo. That's not good. Really? I worked so hard to get that email. Oh wait, I see desktop audio. I don't know what that is. Oh, I see it. Hang on. Really? Oh wait. It was playing my stream on for my YouTube channel. Sorry. I got my screens back up. Hey. Oh, quit eating. Quit putting everything in your mouth, buddy. He's eating everything he can get his hands on. Really. Wow, I cannot believe my computer didn't cut off. Okay, sorry. Since they're hiring so much right now, a lot of conductors, do you think it'll take a very long time to become an engineer? Prob. Oh yeah, it really depends on the terminal. I don't know. And Muscle Shoals, it was between 5 and 7 years. Really, I think if you get in now, you'll probably be quicker because we're in the biggest conductor shortage there has been in a long time. For the guys who get in next year or late next year, they're definitely going to be more prone to being furloughed, but you know, you never can tell. You never know what in the heck's going to go on with the economy and rail traffic. The getting the it's good right now, so hopefully, I don't know, hopefully they take advantage, but I really hope this bill gets passed in the fall to mandate two-man crews. If that happens, then I think everybody will be protected. Where did that email? Larkin. Michael Larkin. Okay, so hiring session. Okay, so I went to the hiring session on 4/11, and this is me emailing Michael Larkin for some reason. I don't remember what I said. Wow. Right here. When you say rail traffic is good, you don't mean CSU, CSX. Oh, a CSX rail traffic down. I was just looking at freightways. I know most of the class ones are pretty busy right now. This was me. This was them sending me. Oh, so I lived in Birmingham at the time, which is about 2 hours away, and they sent me an email telling me that we appreciate your interest in the conductor position in Sheffield. We'd like to invite you to participate in the next step of the recruiting process, which was another interview, or the main interview. I interviewed with a train master from Muscle Shoals Field. What was his last name? Oh man, I can't remember his name. He was all right. Me and him never had problems, but nobody liked him. But I interviewed with him and Michael Larkin, and I actually got there that morning. That was 4/11, and then I got my offer on 420. Is it 4/26? No. Huh? Yep, I will in a minute. I'm in the middle of doing something real quick. Hiring session, hiring session. They get an email making me an offer Sunday night, whatever day that was. Don't even see it. Don't even see it. So I guess it must have took 5 days by the looks of this. Norfolk Southern, Norfolk Southern, Norfolk Southern. Train conductor position, Julius Brown, Chris Bailey. These are the emails I've had over the years. You guys, most of them are. Schedule for training notice, conductor position, trainee Sheffield. 8/15. So I got hired in April. I got my position my start date in August of 4 months, not 6 months. But it was 6 months. I started on September the 8th, I believe. No, September 4th. Tamara Jackson. Yeah. Interesting. People have been Googling this already. And signals. I can make a video on this also. Because I've actually had to use these before. Scary. It's very scary. Doing this at night with a lantern. Trying to couple up cars on the main line. And you got to step in between them. Scary stuff. Oh, man. Y'all have any questions? Or what kind of videos would y'all like to see? Because I plan on making videos on this. These are Southern signals, Norfolk Southern Railway. I'm trying to think of a way I can make these in a easily digestible form. So like maybe just do the signals that have the greens, right? So the first video series will be just the signals with green lights, then the signals with yellow lights, and then the ones with the red. I think that would be easier. Or the maybe green on, I don't know. I'll figure something out. But all this right here looks crazy to most people. Like, what in the world is that? But it's really not that bad. The hardest part is learning the aspect. And the aspect is just a definition. If I remember correctly, there is one word in here. This is how I pass this test. One word in between that's a divergent approach restricted. Approach restricted. Diverging approach restricted. No, I can't remember. There's one word in one of these. It was on a restricted. Oh, it was restricted speed signal. Man, I wish I had the test. I wish I could get a hold of Spencer and get all the material, but I highly doubt he's going to give me that. I'd probably get a cease and desist letter from an attorney. The colors and sequence sounds good. So just do a series with just the video with the greens. It would only be 3 signals, and then I can go and do ones with the yellows, which there's a lot more yellows. But you have solid yellows and you have flashing yellows. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably do the solid greens, the solid yellows, and then the reds and the flashing yellows, because a flashing means something different than a solid yellow. An approach, in a simple term, green on top is clear block. Proceed to authorized speed. A yellow on top is approach, which means the next signal will be a stop or a restricted signal. So that's like your yellow light, and the signals are spaced, most of the time they're spaced 2 miles apart. So the engineer has 2 miles to get his train speed down. And a restricted, all red will be stop unless there is a mile marker plate underneath, which sounds crazy, but none of them have. I have a picture of this. Here we go. That's one. That's a mile marker. If that's underneath the red signal, then it's restricted. So it means you can only travel half the speed vision. Is that the correct terminology for that? Restricted speed, the speed that will permit stopping within half the range of vision, short of train engine obstruction. That's when they put your banners out and they try and get you to hit it and fire you. Do we tell the engineers what to do when they see those lights, or do they already know? Jeremiah, actually, funny story. Sorry, I'm just not reading your comment. I had an engineer can't remember his name. He was from Muscle Shoals. He had a goofy name, but he was really cool. Um, we were on, we called it Alatin, which was the Alabama Tennessee line, and it's on CSX tracks. And we're in a siding, we're getting put in a hole, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're exhausted. And he's nodding off, going to sleep, and he keeps waking up every 45 seconds, smashing the alerter, and going back to sleep. And we all see red down there, but he's still creeping, and we're in a 40 million pound train. It was a loaded coal train. And he just keeps on creeping and creeping, and we get real close. And I jumped, what is his name? I jumped up and told him, because I had fallen asleep. I like dozed off and then came back to. And thankfully we were a long ways away, but we were so close that it scared me. So I did have to remind him. But for the most part, if you're just going down the track, you actually have open communication. So let's say you're going down the track and you see green over red. What NS makes us do, we get on the radio and we'll say our train number. So like, let's say like 23N used to be a train symbol for Muscle Shoals. And we have a train, we had a, most of your signals have a name. They all have like we had a signal named Pride. And we would say 23N clear Pride. And you just say that and it's just letting the dispatcher know where you're at. And you always called your signals that let the people know behind you in the yard where you were, that you're going, you're not in front of you. Whenever you said that, most of the time your engineer will look at you and say, clear block. So that way we all both know that we're on the same page. Clear block, keep on going. Oh, man. Otto, are you on Conrail? Oh, man, that sucks, man. Conrail signals are so bad. It's like trying to memorize hieroglyphics, man. That's all it is. That's crazy. I'm not trying to scare you, but we had a lot of people fail this test in class. But we also had a lot of them pass it, so it definitely can be done. And you've already got your job offer, so it definitely, since you know you're on Conrail, at least you know what you're getting. I didn't have any idea until I got to class, and they were like Southern Signals, and Spencer, which was my instructor, he's actually works in Birmingham. He was like, "You got lucky, Chicago line." What the heck's the Chicago line? I've never even heard of that. This them? Nah, that can't be them. That's like Southern Signal. I have no idea. I'll show y'all something crazy though. Got a new, how do you spell chatting? Okay. Well, folks, Southern Yard. Logan, what are you doing? Logan, no. Yeah. Jenny, it really depends. Different locations run on different signals. I know that sounds crazy. Like in Muscle Shoals, Alabama Division, a lot of your Georgia Division, your Southeast run on Southern signals, but there are some places up north that run on Southern signals. But I think for the most part, they're all Conrail. I was trying to find a picture of NS Yard. It's like I go Google Maps. Maps. D-Butt Yard. There it is. This yard was so intimidating when I first started. Holy cow. It still looks big from right here. I don't know if y'all watched the video where I was talking about dog law or hitting the law. I mentioned in a video where the guy was crossing over, or we were crossing over CSX mainline. We were on CSX mainline. We were crossing over the tracks, which is right here. No, that's not it. Nope, it's on down somewhere. No, wait. That's tunnel. You go through the tunnel and you come out. Right. The heck? Lost. Right, that's CSX track. That's not us. That's not us though. That's wild. But anyways, we died. We died crossing over. We hit 12-hour mark. You just have to stop right away. If you don't, they'll absolutely fire you right here where I think you come out of the tunnel. Yeah. No, wait. We crossed over before the tunnel, I believe. Oh, there it is. That was all fun though. So this right here is CSX, and we cross over right here to our track. This right here is all CSX tracks. Man, it was crazy. CSX was sewed up; they couldn't move. This is just one track, and you have to climb this huge mountain coming up. All this right here is straight uphill till you get to the very, very top. And then you start back down. That was a pretty cool track though. We got to run next to Nickajack, which is a river. We keep following this, we'll go by it. Right here. Here's our track. Here's Nickajack Lake or river, we were gonna call it. That's pretty cool. And you run 60 through there. I'm talking about humming 60. And then it starts going straight uphill right in this area right here. Climb the mountain and start coming back down. CSX running water trestle bridge. I know it's way up there. I'll not drop my guy right here. I can. Way up there. I've never seen it from this way. That's interesting. Like they were doing work on it or something. Huh. Yeah, signals are a big thing for sure. We say they're a big yard. Yeah, man, that yard, it was so intimidating. I didn't know nothing really about it. Like when I worked in Muscle Shoals, we would pull into the receiving yard, which is right here, this part. And we would I would just pull in and stop and get off. Like they knew to get us off the train because we didn't know where we were going. And then when I went to work for Birmingham, we had to do a lot more down here in the outbound yard, which is right in this area. I almost had some incidents down there because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a clue. Didn't know where I was. I was just coupling up cars, counting them down, and that was it. I said the way what train you're on in the track dispatcher sounded so hard to say. No, you talking about like oh, you talking about when I said like 23 in clear? Pride? I'll tell you what's hard, and that's track authorities. Jenny, it depends. So believe it or not, a lot of these trains, well, when I was there, they were really starting to get on the engineers about using, they call it trip optimizer. And what trip optimizer is strictly just like an autopilot for a train. It runs the train for you. It controls the throttle. So you have trip optimizer, and then you have PTC. So PTC controls, make sure you stay under the speed. So I say your speed limit for the train 60. If you get over 60, go 61, 62. When you hit 63, it puts the brakes on for you. So now they're trying to link up Trip Optimizer with PTC, so that way all the engineer has to do is get it out of the yard, and then he clicks go, and then he lets Trip Optimizer do its thing, and it runs the train for you. But a lot of the times Trip Optimizer doesn't work. So then they have to run the train themselves. And if they do, then yeah, they have to keep it under speed. If they do speed and put the brakes on, then you're fired. And it was a big mess because PTC was just, I've got horror stories of PTC where it just puts the brakes on for no reason. You going down the track and all of a sudden just brakes lock up, go into emergency, you don't know what happened. You gotta get out and go walk the train. It was a mess, but I think they've gotten a lot of it figured out by now, hopefully. Here's Muscle Shoals Yard in a comparison to Chattanooga. Where's that? Be right there. It is. It's so small compared to Chattanooga. This is Muscle Shoals, where I hired out of. This is Memphis West going towards Memphis, and this is called the NA going toward Birmingham. Look. Huh. You brushing your teeth? You say you just got your letter Monday. Nice. I forgot where you're hiring out of. That's good. Congrats, dude. Excited and nervous. I know exactly how you feel. I remember clearly. I was a nervous wreck for 3 weeks. If I can do it, anybody can. Jacksonville. Okay, that's right. Okay. That's an easy yard to work in. Then I'm sure y'all may have heard me talk about Decatur a bunch. Decatur Yard. It was really easy to work. This is Decatur Yard right here. Hey, that's not our yard. Is it? Oh, it ain't. That's CSX. Here's our yard. Here it is. Decatur ain't nothing but I think it's 8 tracks. Or maybe, no, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 tracks. You've seen them? Yeah, they can. So there's a place, Jeremiah, I've stopped and got food everywhere. I've stopped and got food. I've even ordered pizza before. I had them deliver it to me because we were told by our dispatcher that we were going to see 5 trains before we could leave. I ordered pizza. Yeah, if you're stopped waiting for whatever reason, you can jump off and go get some food, walk over there and get some food and come back. Styrolution, that's the yard this is a local I used to work on. Shove back in here and work Styrolution. Then work this plant back here, which is like they make automotive clear coat. Forgot the name of it. What are the shifts like? If you're on the extra board, you won't have a shift. You'll be on a board waiting for a phone call. So you'll be like on a list, like to say 1 through 20, for instance, and it's like, whenever if you're 20th out, you'll be waiting. Oh, really? Extra board interviewer told me I'm on nights, so that's completely out of my thing. I'm not sure. Now you could be going to an yard extra board, and that would be pretty cool. Chris, nice. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're learning something now. They may send me a letter here shortly with a lawyer. That's okay. I wish they would give me their material because I could post these videos, and I know the people to talk to get it, but it's just getting the rights to go over some of their stuff and make videos on it. I wish they'd let me do it. I really need to talk to somebody about that because I don't know. It would just help them out in the long run. Like, they want you to pass because you've already went through the whole process. Hang on, let me shut my door real quick. Oh, buddy's eel. Oh man. J-Rat, thank you. I appreciate it. I love those messages. They make me want to keep making more videos. Oh, you know, back to school and graduating, looking to work for the road. That's awesome, man. Do it. Ain't nothing stopping you. I wish you the best. And if you need any help with anything, you just let me know. Comment, email me, Facebook message, whatever you gotta do. There's plenty of ways to get in touch with me. I know we're not looking at anything. I could be playing Train Sim or something, but I'm just sitting here talking. I just got home from work and I was like, I need to live stream because I'm gonna be gone tomorrow. I have to go practice for a fishing tournament, unfortunately. You can work for a short line. If you want to be home every day, I would definitely work for a short line. Um, I'm not sure where you're located, but like down here we have a company called Watco, and those guys, all you really do is you work locals, and they have shifts. They have like 3 shifts. You work from like, I think it's like 6 to 2, and from like 2 to 11 and 11 or 11, I don't know, 2 to 10, and then 10 to 6, something like that. Or they have 2 shifts. Maybe it's 2 shifts where they could work up to 12 hours. But that's the best route I know as far as being home every day. Um, Jenny, that's awesome. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Norfolk Southern sent me a cease and desist letter from a lawyer. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This is just stuff that I know, and there's really nothing they can do to me. I just say that jokingly. So I really do not mind if you tell your interviewers that, because I know a bunch of them, mainly in the Alabama division in Chattanooga, and if any of them actually, if any of y'all or someone in the future ever interviews with them and they tell them that, it's gonna be funny because I probably get a phone call. South Carolina, I'm sure there's some short lines. There's got to be short lines in South Carolina. I would just go on Google and type in, short line railroads in your area, and then just start calling them. A lot of them you have to call to see if they're hiring, or send them an email. You get in touch with them. Just bug them to death until they finally answer you. Start on a third. Are you going to Georgia, Otto? What's the yard like? So our yard extra board, J. Brad, it was pretty much, it was just all the locals that we had or yard jobs that we had. They had an extra board, but so you won't be on the extra board. You'll be on night strictly. But they would call. They only had like 6 or 7 people, and you actually had to have seniority to do this because that's what I wanted to do. But I didn't have the seniority. But they would just call them. Then you'd go work that yard, and then you'd come home. You'd be at home every day, but you just work some weird hours. Oh yeah, RJ. Yeah, RJ Corman. That's a good company to work for. They might be out in your area. Jeremiah, you can put in vacation. They want you to put it in at the first of the year. Um, so you kind of got to have your vacation planned out like within a year advance. Now I'll give you a little tip. If you put in your vacation, they approve it, screenshot it, print it out, put it in your wallet. I'll tell you a crazy story. We called him Booger. All right, he'd been out there for 30 something years, and he put in vacation in January for like, I think it was like August or something like that. And he had been there for so long that he knew to like cover CYA, cover his butt or whatever. So he actually printed that thing off where it was approved, right? Kept it in his pocket or kept it at home. But when the time came up, I was actually working local with him at this time, and he didn't show up to work. And trainmaster asked what happened, and I said he had vacation. And the trainmaster said no, it was denied. And I was like, hey, that's not between me. I'm just telling you, he's on vacation. Come to find out, they went back in there and changed it to denied after they approved it. Thankfully, so he got fired or pulled out of service, I should say, pulled out of service, and he had to wait 3 weeks for his investigation date. And this is what he told me. On his investigation date, he went in there with his union reps, and they asked him, why did you take vacation when it was denied? And he threw that paper out on the table and said it was approved back in January. So you tell me, why are y'all going back in and changing my stuff from approved to denied without telling me about it? And they had to pay him for all 3 weeks that he was out. It was great. It was lovely to see. Ryan Martin. I don't know that name. He's a manager. Might get a phone call from Ryan. deal. Oh, Otto, you did say you was going to Georgia. That's right. I'm assuming you're going to Georgia. That's good. It's fun. There's a few good places to eat. I know I was just looking at. They give you a meal card. I think they gave us like three or $400 something like that to eat on for 3 weeks. And you need a driver's license? I don't believe so. Oh, I'm glad you just reminded me of something. Here's another tip. I've been told, and thankfully I've never had this happen since all you guys are trying to work for them, and y'all probably will. Uh, if you ever hit a car, okay, you hit a car with people in it, hit anything, and the cops show up, they're going to ask for your license. Do not give them your license at all. You give them this thing right here, and it's going to be your conductor. I don't know if I still have mine. Maybe I don't. Look out. Where'd they go? You give them your conductor certification. That's all you give them and nothing else. The reason I say that is if you give them your license, it will make your insurance go crazy high and it will be marked as a wreck. This is what I was told. I've never had this happen, thankfully, but yeah, that's what I was told. I don't even know where my conductor certification stuff went. Seen it. I guess I pulled it out and put it up. No, I quit in December of last year. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. So that's right. I forgot there are more training centers. You told me that last time. I'm sorry. I thought there was just one in not Gardendale. I thought there was one in Georgia. Holy cow, Chris! I bet it's kind of cold up there in the winter, huh? I'm so used to the heat. I complain about the heat down here. Like today, it's like 110 degrees, but there's no way I could do the cold. Actual trainings do Georgia most of the time. We had and when I was in Georgia, we had people from up north, like way up north, coming down there. Uh, the reason I quit really was just due to family. I got 2 kids now, and I just wanted to be at home more. And my whole mindset, I made a couple of videos about this, but the whole mindset changed from I used to live to work. I still love working, but I transitioned to living to work to I just want to work to live. So now I work and I literally go fish all the time, fish tournaments all the time, spend time with my kids, uh, game with my buddies because I'm a nerd and game on my computer and whatnot. Yeah, they pay for your hotel. You'll room with another person from your class. Kind of awkward at first, but at the same time, it's not too bad if you get a good one. Thankfully, I had a good one. It was pretty cool. Jerry, I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm scared to tell you what signals to train or what signals to study because I'm not sure if you'll be on Conrail or you'll be on Southern signals. It's hard to say. I know a person I can ask. Know that. I know one of y'all's instructors personally. He was my instructor, and he's still. I'm pretty sure he's still. I wonder if he is. Let me send him a message. If he's awake. His name's Spencer. May have quit too. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while. Yeah, you can add me on Facebook. I think I have it linked in the description. No, I do not. Hang on. Edit video. I'll take the chat away from you real quick. Put it right here. Oh. All right, now I'm back. When you guys get paid during training? So that's a good question. That's a really good one for all you guys about to go to school. So save your money, and the reason I say that is they pay you every 2 weeks, but they're going to hold you back for 2 weeks, so you won't get your first paycheck until you are out of school a month until you get your first paycheck. And I think they pay what they pay now, like 175 a day or something like that. Spencer messaged me. I haven't told Spencer about this YouTube channel, and I'm breaking the news to him now. I asked if he was at the training center. He said no. He said no. He said I'll be in Knoxville in a couple of weeks. Elon. Elon's going to be y'all's instructor if you are in. He said next week. Got a class Monday. I don't know Elon. Let's see. Oh, Jay, that's a good point. I don't know with COVID. You may not share a room. That's a really good question. I'm not sure. So Conrail signals, your different signals here you can see on my screen. These are NorFolk Southern signals, and then you have Conrail, and you'll see the difference here. Let me type in Conrail signal. Rail signal. It's like memorizing hieroglyphics, man. It's crazy. So that's Conrail. That's Southern. They both do the same thing. It's just Conrail is extremely difficult, and I don't know why. I don't know who came up with this, but that's bad. Auto, yeah. And so whenever I think your first day, you can't. I think they just kind of give you your meal card, explain to you the process. They walk you around the training facility, and I think the second day they get you logged in with your. If you look at my screen right here, I actually clicked on this earlier, but you'll get logged into this right here, which is going to be your. It's called your RAC ID, RACF, and that was mine. ONPSK was my RAC ID. But they'll give you your RAC ID. You'll set up your password. You'll log in. That'll bring you up to the mainframe. And once you get the mainframe, then you'll get your computers, and then you can start training. Yeah, we used to get NS. We used to get 265 in Memphis. Yep, I was on that train a lot. That's a westbound train coming out of Atlanta, going to Chattanooga to Muscle Shoals, and Memphis. Which swap would be in there. Okay, Otto, appreciate that. I'm curious. Curious. I could let everybody know. Jeremiah, what do you need in the description? You need the signals. It says Kentucky Division too. I just noticed that. Oh, I live in Alabama. I did live in Muscle Shoals, but I've moved back to Birmingham now. Or I'm in the Birmingham area, Odenville to be exact, of the city that I'm in, which is out in the woods, in the middle of nowhere. Hey, Nicholas, you just hired in Cincy. What's some really? I'm guessing you're saying what some salary expectations, some real salary expectations. Your first year, I'm just gonna go back to my safe guess because I don't want to tell you wrong or get your hopes up. I'm gonna say between 60 to 80,000 your first year. Ooh, from Atlanta. So I think Spooner. That's a good question. I know Atlanta goes to Chattanooga, but I'm not sure. And they may come to Birmingham. I'm not sure though. That's a good question. I don't know anybody from Atlanta. I only know guys from Birmingham. Yeah, close the door. Close it. Because I'm in here doing something. I'm live streaming. You gonna look and say hello? All these people are watching. 15 people are watching. You gonna say hey? No? Um, if they're in Muscle Shoals or Birmingham, I probably do know them, unless they're on the East End. I worked on the AGS. Spooner, my pleasure, man. Like I said, I wanted to. I normally stream on Fridays, but I'll be going tomorrow. I was just going to jump on here for an hour or so and to try and answer some questions. I'm gonna try and do this every week. I probably try and do it at least every Thursday or every Friday. It's just during the week, and I know we're all kind of winding down and getting ready to go to bed, go to work tomorrow. But I just don't want to. I don't want to do it on the weekends because I'm not trying to take anybody's time on the weekends. Is there any benefits on working in small yards compared to larger ones? I would say there's a lot of benefits on working in small yards. The reason being is radio chatter. When I was in Chattanooga, it was crazy. They did not, they may now, but they did not have an outbound channel or inbound channel. It was all a big mess. And man, it was like you would have to fight to get like, so if I was coupling up a car, which I've had this happen several times, I'm trying to count down and say 5 cars, and then I'd let go of the button. Well, then they start chattering in, and then I try to say 4, and I can't get in because everybody's talking. And then I'd go from 5, and then I have to push a button and say 3, and then I push a button and say that'll do, just to get the engineer to stop for a second. And then it got to the point to where, Riley, put your clothes on, please. It got to the point to where I would have to just hold the button down and just be the butthole and just say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That'll do. Don't pay attention to my daughter. She don't have any pants on. She has underwear on, but she don't have any pants. She's gonna shut the door. Nope. She's being nosy. That's what she's doing. She always likes to go in here and see what I'm doing. But yeah, that would be the main thing. Radio chatter. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be only 3 crews, and that'd be awesome. And you know everybody, so it's only 3 crews, so you know the other crews, and you know how they work. There's a lot of trust there. I like that. But see, at Muscle Shoals, there wasn't a lot of people like at Birmingham. We knew everybody at Muscle Shoals. So like if we were on a train behind and they were up in front of us, and all of a sudden we're running on clear blocks, and all of a sudden we got an approach signal, I could be like, hey, Egg, what are y'all doing up there? Which Egg was an engineer, and he'd tell us, oh, whatever, something's going on up here at the track, and then we'd know to slow down. It was fun. Love the channel, bro, and thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate you spending your time with me because I appreciate it. That's very humbling. Any way I can help, you let me know. I'll do what I can. Jeremiah, for the most part, you gotta think you've always had somebody doing this job for the most, unless you just get a new customer. But like earlier when we were looking in Decatur, we go here and go to maps. Well, not Decatur, Illinois. Here we go. But like, so you got to think. So you always had somebody working in the yard before you, so they know for the most part. So this is Decatur Yard. This was my local I used to work. We'd shove back on this, called the M lead. We cross right here, and this is Styrolution. So this is called the longer runaround, and we would shove back, and right here, this track is where I would. So what I would do is I would shove back all of my cars. So I would build my train in Decatur with the cars. So this is they load these cars in here. So you can see right here actually. Am I telling you wrong? No, no. Okay, that's right. Wow. Oh wait, no, I'm telling you wrong. This is a spare track. Here's my track right here. So you can see this little building right here. We would pull loads and spot empties, right? So what we would do is I would shove back right here with all of my good cars, my empty cars, and I would reach in with just the engine and couple up to these, pull these out, come back out, couple up to these, pull these out, and then couple back up. Then whenever we couple back up, we'd pull the empties and we would spot. And the reason the engineer would keep the loads is they would put some air and it would, I guess it's easier for them to control. I'm not real sure why, but we'd always have to use the loads. Or we've had it happen to where the cars were so heavy. This track right here with this shove, this will be, I forgot what you call these things. This track is normally, no, there's another track somewhere right here. This is it. This track used to be empty. We would shove all the way back here with our empty cars and come and pull these and then shove them back up here, shove the loads back up here, and then go spot the empties and grab them and leave. I know that sounds really confusing. Like spitting it off real quick, but for the most part, you're going to have somebody that's been working the shop for a long time, and they're going to show you exactly where to spot these cars. And this place was really picky about spotting because you can imagine there's these little holes in the top of these rail cars, and around that hole was a walkway, so you had to ring it just right, or they were really mad. Does NS use brake sticks? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we use them a lot, and they're real big on them too. Uh, John, it depends on if you get called for Decatur. So if they call you to work a Decatur local, like A02 or A01, A81, A80, I worked on the train A80. That's this job. Yeah, you'll just go straight to Decatur and go there. But if you get called to leave out of Sheffield, you'll have to drive to Sheffield or Florence, Muscle Shoals. Oh, let's see. So if someone got offers for, say, BNSF and NS, and they took the NS, could they leave NS and go to BNS, or is that frowned upon? Yeah, you have to pay $5,000. Um, so if let's say you're going to training, right? Let's say you go to NS and you train and you quit and you immediately go to work for BN, you have to pay $5,000. Yeah, Chris, she does. She does. Every time I get home, she runs outside. No, Spooner, for the most part, we're just hanging out. Like I've literally kicked my feet up on the desk and I'm just sitting there with the remote in my hand and we're just talking, having a conversation. It becomes to where you're almost like family because you spend so much time with the man next to you, man or woman too, with them next to you. Um, you talk about everything. You talk about life and gosh, we've even talked about politics and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's yeah, you spend a lot of time with them, and it just becomes you're just going to work with your buddy is what it really turns out to be, and it's a lot of fun. That's what I miss the most. If there's any one thing I miss, it's the camaraderie between you and the guy you work with. Why the fine? I was told that NS. Well, I was told by one of the instructors that uh, UP, BN, and CSX used to send their, or I guess you can say send. They would get their people that they hired to apply for NS, and NS would hire them, and then NS would train them, and then they'd leave and go back to where they originally got hired. That's what I was told. I don't know how much I believe that, but it could be true. Aside from food, what are some good items, tools to bring with you while on a trip in a cab or locomotive? I would definitely bring a spare flashlight or headlamp. A charging block for your phone is a good one because you'll need it, believe it or not. They don't have chargers on the train. So I had like a little USB charging block, and it would charge my phone like 20 times. And I would just keep that in there because sometimes you'll be sitting for hours and hours, and your phone will start to go dead. Or even like my phone now, wherever my phone is, like it has a charging block on the back of it. Like I don't know if y'all can see this here. I can push this button and it kind of lights up and it shows. I can hold that down and it'll charge my phone. So you can get one of these and get a charging block too, and that would work really well. It's another good one. Air hose gaskets. It's a big one. You ever get a leak? Those are really important, and there's some good. That's a good question. That's kind of a loaded question too. Yeah, pins. Daryl's right. Mike Hill told me he's an old head engineer. He'd been there 40 years. He told me a conductor's nothing without a pin, and that is extremely true. If you don't have a pin, you're kind of screwed. You can't update your consist. You can't write track authorities. You can't do nothing. John, that's actually so. This actually happened in Muscle Shoals. We have a thoroughfare in Decatur. I mean, not in Decatur, and Florence, Memphis. That's too far. Where we at? Right, Russ. Okay, go right here. They have a thoroughfare, which is just the main track going down the yard. So right here, this track will come down and you hit this track. And this track right here will take you all the way through the yard. All right, and you can see the road right here next to it. This is our road getting into the yard. So you have to run down this track to get the locomotives into the shop. That's going to the outbound train yard. You keep on going down. This will take you to the shop right here. Here's your engines. Here's going into the shop right here. So here's your shop. So this is what we were told. I wasn't here for this, but I was told there was a guy leaving right here. This is where we park. Here's a washroom where we used to go in and get our paperwork. They was driving down this road to leave. They were on their phone. The engine, they were coming back from Memphis. They were pulling into, or they detached, and they were coming down the thoroughfare, and the brakes shot. No, brakes didn't shoot. The detector went off, and they tried to fire the crew that was on the train, and said that they were on their phone while the locomotives was moving. And it turned out that wasn't the case. But that's the story I heard. That's just a rumor. Don't take that as factual, but that I have heard there's ways for them to know. Does anybody really care? I don't think so, as long as the train's moved, or as long as the train's not moving. But, like I said, things have changed since I've been out there, so I'm not sure. They do have cameras everywhere. You have a camera on the front facing out in front of the nose, and then you had a camera on the back wall, and it's a wide angle camera, so it picks up what the conductor's doing and what the engineer's doing. And there's even some locomotives like on KCS, they have a camera right here over the conductor facing you, like right in your face. Boots. I'm gonna go. I'm a little biased. I like air yachts or ARIET or Red Wings. Anything lightweight and comfortable. Do not get steel toe shoes. You don't need them. As long as they have a 90-degree heel, you're good to go. No, I didn't make a video, but I need to. Sure. Yeah, I definitely need to make a video. I need to make a lot of videos. I need to make videos on hand signals, on the hang test. I was going to try and do my hang test this week, but my old employer, I've got to get clearance because it's on Alabama Power's property for me to get down there to actually shoot the video of me actually showing y'all how to do a hang test and how to not cheat, but how to make it a lot easier on yourself. And I want to make a video on how to change a knuckle, how to lace air hoses because you're going to have to do it. Handbrake. There's so much stuff I want to do that would really help y'all a lot because when you go to Georgia, they have this little course. I wonder if it's even showing up yet. I don't know. Let's see. NorFolk Southern Training Center, Thoroughbred Road. That's it. So here's a training. No, it's not even updated yet. So right here is like a little obstacle course. I think they have some pictures on it. Let's see. NorFolk Southern Training Center. and you go through like climbing over rail cars. You go over like yeah, here we go. Here's a picture of it. Wow, you can barely see it. That's trash. They show you how to tighten handbrakes. They show you how to pop handbrakes. They show you how to change a knuckle. They show you how to lace air hoses, how to cut air in, which is another video I need to make because you can shoot a whole train in an emergency if you're not careful. And what else do they do? That all that stuff that you do outside, you do it every day, so it becomes they want you to learn how to do it like over and over and over. All that stuff would make things a lot easier for you guys. Have you ever known anyone that just like, oh yeah, yeah, the railroad's not for everybody, that's for sure. But I do encourage everybody to at least give it a shot because if you don't, at least in my mind, if I never did, I would be saying, man, I should have went and worked for them. At least gave it a shot. I may have loved it. I always encourage people to at least give it a shot. And thankfully, the way the economy is right now, it's almost like you can go and try it, and if you don't like it, you can always find another job because everybody and their mama's hiring, including Nucor. If you don't like it, go work for Nucor. It showed, I think there is. I think Otto said there's 3. I only knew of one. Honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know there was 3. Oh, look, here's another picture of it. Y'all can see. This is exactly what in the world. Why do they got a guitar and a violin and a banjo? What's going on? Strange. They tell you how to throw a switch. They show you how to read switches and how to line switches, which would be a really good video because it's not that hard. Actually, I could show y'all right now. It's really not hard. I can give you my secret. How I used to train guys at Road and Rail. Let's see. Lined switches. Want that. It's gonna be big so we can actually see it. Okay, y'all can actually see this. So I'm sure this is. Don't let me insult any of y'all's intelligence. I'm not trying to do that. A lot of y'all probably know how to do this, but I know a lot of people that don't. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing how to do this because it is confusing, definitely. So whenever you're lining the switch, a lot of times you don't have this arrow here that's telling you which way the train will go. And the way the train wheel is made, the lip is on the inside of the rail. So it actually, that's what keeps the rail car on the track. There it is. Let me just show you a picture of it. I forget that I'm live, but I can show you all this stuff. So right here, you can see the lip of a rail car wheel is actually on the inside, and you'll actually feel it bounce. You actually feel it going on the track. You'll bounce left and right, and it's those wheels catching the inside of the track. And so whenever you're going to line a switch, let's say, if you need to go in here, if you just follow the gap, wherever the gap is, whenever you throw a switch, that's the way the rail car will go, right? So if we're pulling in, the gap's on the right, so we're going to go to the right. That's the easiest way to remember that. Follow the gap, and if you have to, point at it. So what we used to do is, like, let's just say this track over here to the right is track 1. And so as a conductor, you'll walk up, you'll throw the switch, and you'll tell the engineer, 23 in, line for track 1. And the engineer will say, double check. And you'll look. You actually have to physically look. I used to. Train masters will pop you on this if you don't. You actually physically look at the switch and say double check. What that does is it covers the engineer's butt. If you run through the switch and something happens, it's not on him. It's on you because you double check. Newly hired conductors negotiate over the salary offered. Not here. Not in the States. You start off at 80% of the top out pay as a conductor, and you gradually get increases after 2 years, I believe. Maybe it's after a year now. Try to find other pictures. Yeah, here's one. Follow the gap. We're gonna go straight. I used to love training people on the railroad, man. It was so much fun. I trained a guy named Brendan Nix. We're still friends this day, and there's some funny stories with that guy. That looks crazy. But as still, you can see right here, here's the gap, so they're definitely going to be going to the right on this way. What is those things? Crazy looking. What's up, man? Good to see you. I don't ever want to. I don't want to kill your name. I'm gonna call you Deli. That's right. That's what we. That's what we called you. Thank you for stopping by again. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just looking at pictures. If y'all have any questions, just ask away. I'm just over here rambling to myself. But I remember I had some guys at Road and Rail that couldn't comprehend this thing with, you follow the gap. Whichever the way the gap is, that's the way the train's going to go. And we used to have to lock out our tracks because we were mechanical. And we had to have blue flags up, and they just couldn't comprehend. They didn't know how to lock out the tracks right. Daryl, actually, I'll be honest with you. I think I liked. Oh man, actually, I ain't gonna say that. Dark Territory was cool because I enjoyed copying track authorities, and I don't know, but the signal territory was good too because you just went off single indication, and but I don't know. I enjoyed dark, and I think it's just because I'm a little biased because that's where I hired out of was the Muscle Shoals was dark territory, and I enjoy that. Um, so Otto, the way signals work, which is just another video I need to make. So let's say somebody's running the local and they're on the main line, right? So let's say you're at milepost 500 and the local's at milepost 505, right? And you're running towards them, so you're going from 501 to 50 or 500 to 501, say eastbound, 500 to 501. If they got a work between, which say they got to work between like a track authority, like work between the 504 and the 506, so that gives them 2 miles. Whenever the dispatcher will let you know if you're on dark territory that you'll have a track authority up to their milepost. If you're on signal indication, you'll get a approach signal or a restricted signal before their milepost, then you'll have a stop signal. So let's say the dispatcher forgets to tells you, right? As soon as the local throws a switch from the main line and lines it, let's say for like Decatur, like the M lead, like I was in when we was looking at Decatur, or we just look right here, for instance. This is a main line for NS right next to the school. As soon as you throw this switch, the signal behind it will turn to a restricted signal or a stop signal, one of the two. So that's how they know. Uh, that's how they. That's how you'll see that. I'm sorry, I got lost there for a second. But yeah, so the switches on the main line control the signals. If one gets thrown, the signals go from a clear and they'll go straight to a red signal, or a stop or a restricted signal. And if you're 2 or 3 signals back, so a clear block is good for 2 signals. That's 4 miles on average. So if you have a clear block or a clear signal, that means you're good for the next 2 signals, right? So you can keep on going, but you may get a clear, and then the next signal may be an approach, but it won't be a stop signal. So if you get a clear, it will never be a red signal unless something really bad happened. And but you may get an approach signal, which just means be prepared to stop at the next signal, and then you'll have a stop or restricted. But so you could be running on clear, and if that switch gets thrown, you'll see the signal actually drop in front of you. You'll go from that clear to an approach signal, or we'll go from clear, and then the next signal will be an approach. That sounds confusing, I know it does, but I promise you, it'll make more sense as soon as you get to school. You'll be like, oh, okay, because they'll tell you a signal's good for 4, or a clear block is good for 2 signals. Uh, Jeremiah heard tank guards have a different shaped knuckle. So there are 2 different types of knuckles. I forgot what the names of them are, even though I did that crap for years, changing them out. their knuckles actually rotate, spin 180 degrees. The regular knuckles that we normally work on are just regular. I think they call them. Are they called F30s? Can't remember. F30 knuckles or something like that. But yeah, they do have a different. They do have different knuckles. They're a pain in the butt too. Yeah, although if you're on dark territory, you'll have a track authority. If you're not on dark, you'll just go on signal indication. So you'll just be running clear block, clear block, clear block, and you'll see an approach signal. And approach, like I said, approach just means be prepared to stop at the next signal. And so that's when, and you'll have 2 miles, roughly 2 miles. The engineer will have 2 miles to slow down. Oh dear, that's a good question. I think they're using NS Police. I use NS Police. Oh, Advantage. I see. I don't know. That's crazy. Joey, some points on how to draft your resume. Man, see, I heard from my old head that railroad experience isn't good, and then I made 2 accounts. I had 2 accounts. I had one with my railroad experience, and I had another one without, and they hired me with my railroad experience. And I've always prided myself on safety. Like I said, I've never had an injury in my working career. Um, just the typical selling points. You take pride in what you do, good integrity. Uh, you're safe. You feel like you make a difference. All those good selling points. You really have to sell yourself. At the end of the day, y'all are all competing with each other, or in your area to be picked. So just go about it that way. Like you're competing to get this job, and do what you got to do to get it. Sell yourself good. That's all. Just talk about all those talking points. As far as what I wore to my resume, I wore a flannel and blue jeans. Stay on top of that sounds familiar there. If I had one tip to give anybody starting with NS, that would be don't let them rush you. Jeremiah, no, thankfully I've never had one fall off. I did get on this is actually in Chattanooga. It was on an intermobile car, and I don't know what we were carrying, but we were followed by, I don't know if it was Homeland Security or the CIA. I don't know what it was, but they followed us from Chattanooga all the way to Memphis. So it originated in, I think it originated in like North Carolina or something like that. And this guy had been following this train the whole time. And I don't know what we were carrying. I looked at our paperwork, and it just said Norfolk, Virginia, or no, it was North Carolina, and it didn't tell me what was on it. It was crazy, but that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Anytime we were not allowed to stop at all, and if we did stop for any amount of reason, I had to get out and inspect the train. And we only stopped one time, but we had a straight shot from Chattanooga all the way through CSX, all the way to Muscle Shoals. And when we got to Muscle Shoals, that guy was sitting there waiting, and he was in a silver Ford Explorer, big black mustache, crazy aviators on. I kid you not. I promise. That's a real story. And they were the first. They were the head 6 cars. Cincinnati. That's good. So is that going to be your home terminal? Hopefully it is. Uh, oh, that sounds great. That sounds really good. What do you do? I guess if I was the engineer in that situation, tall, I would probably just be in dynamics hard, getting ready to go to restricted speed. I'm sure there's probably a turn really close too. I can just imagine a train master sitting around there with a banner. I mean, no, I didn't try to negotiate with them. It was like one of those set in stone things, like this is what you're going to make, um, and I was okay with it because the job I was working prior, I was making 12.50 an hour, and I went from 12.50 an hour to 27 or 28, whatever it was an hour. So I just kind of I wasn't going to argue with them. If I was to come from another class one, there might be a little bit of argument there, but I'm pretty sure they're just going to tell you take it or leave it. Um, See, Alliance, they used to do that back before I hired. They used to send the guys to their terminal to train for, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. Then you'd go to Georgia for a week, and you come back and train in your yard for 2 or 3 weeks, and you go back to Georgia again. It was like a really long, drawn out process. Like I said, I only trained for 9 weeks, and then I was marked up and thrown out to the wolves. And I guess it's kind of strange they're doing it that way, but I think it'll really help you out in the long run. Well, I say they'll help you out. You're hiring in Conway, or you're going to Cincy. That's going to be two different yards. That's going to be weird. Why do we see SD connected to GEs? I have no idea how the powers moved around. I just know they're kind of all leased, and whenever you use them, from what I've been told, whenever you use them, I guess it's like a mutual thing. I'm sure the NS pays BN for their power, and UP pays NS for their, however that's worked out. I don't know anything as far as the engine wise. Wiki, the only thing I can tell you is when you apply, 100% on willingness to travel and put note on tobacco use, and that should at least get you to the hiring session. And then from there, it's going to be go in there and compete to get the job, sell yourself. Yeah, that's good. That mileage pays. It was really good when I was there. It's like 48 cents a mile. And when I was in school, they were saying, "We'll pay for you to drive back home one time," and I did. I drove back home both weekends, but they only paid for one, but it added a pretty good lick to my check. Jay Brad, I can relate. I applied for 6 years and I was finally hired. Yeah, I would definitely keep applying and put the emphasis on safety and like I said earlier, safety, integrity, doing the right things, and trying to make a difference and all that good stuff. What do you get asked at a hiring session? The hiring session for NS, you really don't get asked anything. It's like an 8 hour long deal, and they go through the whole spiel of what it's like to be a conductor, your insurance, your pay, all that good stuff. And then you take your assessment test at the end. And then they will look at your resume and look at your scores, and then that will determine whether you get an interview or not. Now, as far as the interview, they ask you, I remember Michael Larkin asked me why I wanted to even work for the railroad, and my answer was because I want to feel like I'm making a difference. I don't know if the answer will still work, but that's what I told them. And they asked me about my experience, and I told them that, you know, this is what I told them, and y'all can use this too. But I told our train master that whenever I was trained by a guy that told me whenever I threw a switch, I would point at it. So I'd throw it, and I'd say line for track one. And they'd say double check, and I would point at the switch. Did I do this? No. But I told them I would point at the switch to make sure I remember that that switch is lined correctly. And when I told them that, they were like, "Oh wow, that's pretty good." And for some reason, they hired me. 56 cents per mile. That's a lot better. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Compensation for food, paid hotel. That's good. Yeah. What? They got you to make a video of you answering a question? A short video of you answering a question. What was the question? Name a time you had to make a tough decision. That seems to be everybody's like big employer go-to. Even Nucor does that. Oh, they asked you why NS. Why NS? Nobody wants to answer that question, honestly. I don't think so. I mean, I think you can run. I don't know. I know from Florence to Chattanooga was a long way. I think it was like 180 something miles. But but they have territories. You have mile markers you can't pass, and if you do, you get 2 days pay. John, who did you interview with? Was it trying to think of some of the train masters' names? Van Buren was one of them. Um, you have Nick Mullins. He's one of them. I'm trying to think of Decatur train master. His name's right on the tip of my tongue. I know all those guys over there in Muscle Shoals, though, unless there's some new ones. It might have been the new terminal manager. I can't remember his name. Yeah, tough decision. Wild Railroad, about yourself, something else. Huh. Well, how interesting. It's all have to do with that psychological baloney. You know, they score you based on your answer and your body and how you sit and how you talk and your hand movements and all this goofy crap. I don't know. Nucor is so strange. I'm going to be going to one of their interviewing, hiring, training sessions, and I want to really get into the Nucor's mindset as to why they hire the people they do. They hired like 10 new people recently, and 2 of them just quit. Up and quit. Well, do I think NS start paying more? I don't. They should. NS. I think NS will. I think they will start to pay more, but I don't know how much. Strictly due to inflation. Because I mean, we've all seen inflation in the states here in the past year. It's gone up a lot. Oh, John Willingham. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know John. Matthew Yaney. Yaney. That's a name I know, but I don't know him. But I do know John. John's a good guy. He's a great guy. I don't have John's number anymore. I would have called him. I have the man below him. His name is Jeremy Utley. He's a yard master. Me and Utley still friends. Still talk pretty often. Nicholas, what was your answer? I'm curious. What interests you about the job? Because if that was me, here would be my answer. And this would be me selling myself if I was still trying to get in. Ask me, what about the job interests me? And I would say something along the lines of that I know I'm making a difference. I'm getting product moved from point A to point B so I can get storage stores and keep the economy going. That would be, in a cliff note, that would be my answer. Yeah, Daly, I have no idea. Otto gave you that answer because I don't. It's so different than when I was there. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Jay Bratt. Yeah, they always say what they say in the hiring sessions. It never rains or snows or anything on the railroad. That was like a little joke they like to say. You'll always be working in the sunshine and sunshine and 75. There you go. Yeah, invest in good frog suit. Oh, John, they hire you back in 2018. That's interesting. See, because that's when they hired a bunch of the guys that I trained. You probably would have been training with me if you would have if they would have actually hired you back then. Because there was a guy named Brennan Nix. I don't know if you know him. He hired back in 2018. I know a lot of guys that hired back in 2018. And I trained all of them because I was on the local in Decatur, and you had to learn the local, so I got to see every single one of them. Yeah, that's a good one, Alliance. I remember I used to say that a lot. I'm looking for a career. That's true. Hey, that's good enough for me now because that's I'd be sold. I'm like, all right, hired. Jeremiah, I think they want you to order 6 months worth of safety equipment and they'll have it mailed to your house. You order it on a website now. I don't blame you, John. Tell him because I know. So I talked to Brennan yesterday, and I asked them how shorthanded were they, and where's that message at? I'll pull it. Let you see. Brennan Nix is his name. Still there, and so here's the message. This is my Facebook page. You got to pay attention to that. But you'll see right here. So it says, I sent a message. I said, Brennan, you still out there at NS? And he said, yeah, I am. I said, how's the extra board out there? Are y'all shorthanded? He said, oh, bad. And I said, oh, really? LOL. Back to like the good old days of 2017 and 2018. He said, yeah, it's rough. I told him I started the Railroad Channel, and it kind of blew up. And he said, hell yeah, dude. So it looks like you're going to be in a good spot. And if I could go back, that would be the yard I would go to. Yeah, I hired in September of 2017. I was marked up in 9 weeks, and then I was training people because I got as soon as I was marked up, I was forced to Decatur Yard, and I was there for four or 5 months, something like that. Yeah, you're right, Alliance. Anything you get from NS is going to have their name written all over it. It doesn't matter if it's a freaking bag or a hat or a calendar. Jeremiah, yeah, 10 hours. Yep, 10 hours. And if they call you beforehand, here's a tip for you guys. So there's an engineer. Oh, that's right, John. I was talking to Facebook. That's right. So there was an engineer named Jared Cobb. Um, and I got a phone call. He's not my brother. Um, but this is Jared. He's an engineer. I ain't showing you. Here's Jared's page. But they called me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And they're like, hey, Jared, we need you for train, whatever. And I said, I'm still on my rest. And the crew call lady was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. So here's a tip for you: if you're on your rest and you're 10 hours, and they call you, you're supposed to have 10 hours of uninterrupted rest. If they call you in that 10 hours, you answer the phone and tell them that's not me, whatever. Restart my time. They have to restart your time. You get 10 more hours rest. It was awesome. I said, that's not me. I said, you called the wrong Cobb. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like, can you reset my rest for me? Appreciate it. She's like, yeah, I'll do that right away. I got the phone, went back to sleep. And I was probably around like hour 7 or 8 of being at home. So it was good. Nicholas, yeah, I did. So my family lived in Birmingham, and I lived in Florence, about 2 hours away. And but she would come up with my daughter, and they would come up and stay for a little bit. And daily rate for a yard foreman, sheesh, I don't know, man. I imagine Utley probably tell me if I asked him how much a yard master makes, but I'm sure it's probably around I don't know, 100 to 110, $120,000 a year if I had to guess. Utley does pretty well. You have to deal with a lot though. It is nerve wracking job. You're constantly getting phone calls from train masters. You're constantly getting bombarded by trains coming in, trains trying to leave, yard guys trying to couple up the cars and hollering at you. What? No, it's crazy, man. It's a stressful job. One time getting a haircut this week. Had Yeah, Jeremiah, that's right. Yeah, I got 10 more hours. And there used to be this thing called sharpshooting. I was going to make a video on it, but NS actually made it to where they kind of started paying attention to it. But it was ways of me getting off work, and they kind of put a stop to it. But you could sharpshoot. And what I mean by sharpshoot is you had pull turns. And what a pull turn was, it was a pool of conductors and engineers that they would call for a specific route. So, like, say, like the pull turn, it was called the Memphis West. And if there was a train going to Memphis, they would call from the engineer and the conductor pull first. Let's say the conductor was marked off sick, and he'd have a TA next to his name, or a TV, temporary vacancy. So you could bid on a temporary vacancy, but if nobody bidded on it, they would just call a conductor from the extra board. So whoever was first out, they'd call them, and they'd get stuck to that train. They'd go to Memphis and come back. What you could do is, whenever they would call a conductor from the extra board and put them on that job, it was still considered a temporary vacancy because the conductor did not bid on that job. He was just called to it. What you could do is you call crew call. And you say, hey, I'd like to claim temporary vacancy. You know, it was like W15 or whatever. And they say, all right, we're going to put you on it. Well, I would call as soon as the train left town, right? I'd call and claim that job, get put on it, and I would be held to that job until that train came back, and it would be normally 2 or 3 days. But when that train came back, I would be stuck to that job. So if the conductor was gone for a couple of weeks, well, then I would be stuck to that train, which was fine. I was working. But most of the time, how it happened was I would claim that train, it would go out of town, it would come back, and when it came back, I would get kicked from that train because a conductor that was sick came back to work. When they kicked me, it would knock me back to the bottom of the list on the extra board, and I would have like three days off. I would do that like once every 2 months. Nicholas, yeah, it does. Yeah, so you'll be on either A crew, B crew, or C. I think there's A, B, and C, and you'll be on call for these days, C 6 days, like Monday through Saturday. You'll be off Sunday, Monday, and then the next crew, like B crew, will be on call Tuesday through Sunday, and so on. And yeah, you'll have 48 hours off. How's life after having kids? It's great. It's definitely getting better too. It's after finally getting moved in and all that good stuff, and getting my boat and actually go fish with them. It's good. Better internet, all that good stuff. Thick skin, yeah, you'll have to have some thick skin. But for the most part, I will tell you this, Alliance. For the most part, train masters know that they can only get away with so much, and you kind of have to stand up to them. When you know you're right, you kind of voice your opinion. There's nothing they can do to you as long as you don't threaten them, or threaten to hurt them or anything like that. You'll be fine. Wiki, no, I did not. I made this channel for jokes. Not really jokes. I just knew there was a lot of people who didn't know how much railroad conductors made. I used to Google how much the railroad conductor, and you look at Glassdoor and stuff, and nobody ever told you. And then I posted that video, was it 2 years ago, how much railroad conductors make in 2019. And then the views, like I'll show you the analytics. Just for the record, I don't make money from this YouTube channel. I do it strictly because I like to. But you'll see. So let's look at my analytics right here. We'll look. Let's look at content. Let's go to the first video ever made. Yeah, how much money do you make in 2019? So we got almost 25,000 views and since published. So you can see when I first posted this video, June 28th, I got like 5 views on the first day. So you see this chart. Slowly, it just started to climb like crazy, and these are views. And you can really see when the railroad started hiring like crazy, which was back in March. That's when my channel really started to blow up. So when I started seeing these videos, I wanted to make the videos on school. Well, I made this video about money, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should make some videos on school too. I posted this June 25th. So then I started making videos on school, July 1st, July 5th. I didn't post anything, and my channel started to blow up. I was like, holy crap, I need to make some more videos. It's like, you know, people actually need to hear this stuff. So that's when I posted these, and these, and then we moved. And I made this one in January. And no, we moved in March. I made one January, February, and then March is where we moved. April, bought my boat, was never at home. Now I'm back. Can we mark up on our 48 hours off during training? Otto, I'm not sure. That's a good question. You might be able to. Yeah, Andrew. So we're in one of the biggest shortage of conductors in a long. I think they said like 50 something years, and it's because of PSR. It's strictly due to PSR. There's no. I've got that logic stuck in my head, and I really think I'm right. And I haven't made a video on it. I've wanted to, but it is what it is. I think it is due to PSR. Yeah, so I've had train masters try to rush me. I've had yard masters try to rush me. And that's my biggest piece of advice to anybody. Don't let them rush you. Work at your speed. If they don't like it, tell them to get their ass down there and do it themselves. PSR is an acronym, and it stands for Precision Scheduling Railroading, and it is nothing more than a strategy to lower cost and fuel, lower cost and crews, and to make things more efficient. And it was created by a guy named Hunter Harrison. And he was the CEO of CSX, but he died in 2018, I believe. I think it was 2018. I've been 2017. December 16, 2017, he died. But I'll give you, let's see what is vision. Vision. I spelled that wrong. Here we go. Let's give you the correct definition so that way I don't sound too crazy. This is Wikipedia. Great ways. What is PSR? Yeah, PSR is definitely going to be here to stay. I really believe so. The reason being is it has been proven to work. But like I mentioned earlier, y'all may have not been in, or most of y'all wasn't in here. My theory on why NS laid off so many people back in 2019. I think what NS did was with their shareholders. When I was there, it was $170 something a share. I think they NS told their shareholders, we're going to buy into Hunter Harrison's PSR, but we're going to make it our own. So in 2018, they started overhiring like crazy, right? 2018, they started overhiring, and then boom, 2019, they started laying thousands of people off. And I think why they did that was to prove to their shareholders, oh, our strategy's working. Look how much money we've saved by cutting back all these conductors that we don't need. I think they fooled their shareholders. And unfortunately, they didn't care. It worked. Their stock's like $200 and something. And yeah, I think PSR is here to stay for sure. Jeremiah, yes, you do get some weekends off every 6 weeks. Every month and a half, you'll get a weekend off. Hey, Hunter Harrison, 70 million, then he died. Yeah, I remember the day he died. I was sitting in Chattanooga Yard. And as soon as he died, I bought CSX stock. True story. What? Where's the definition to PSR? Okay, here we go. Here it is. All right, so precision scheduled railroading, or PSR, is the operational method of running a railroad for maximum assets utilization by which freight movements are scheduled and managed on the individual carload rather than the entire train level. That contributes to efficiency improvements by, for instance, using more direct point-to-point routing, bypassing classification terminals, hump yards, and having the flexibility to use long mixed commodity trains. They combine 2 trains into one, make them super long, put DPs in the middle of them or DPs on the rear, and ship them out. Yeah, Wall Street's happy. PSR staying, absolutely. Yeah, so if you look right here, there's other descriptions that are less flattering than the railroad to the railroad, such as PSR is a slash and burn, removal of expenses and headcount. Absolutely. Yeah, Lance, you're right. Old GP trains. No, I never did. NS, we had our GP40s, um, like our little yard locomotives. But as far as old, like, they wasn't super old. They just looked like your average yard engine. They all sucked and they were all loud. Oh man, yeah, I've been hit by detectors on long trains and it sucks, man. It's horrible. I would probably holler at the yard master if I was close to a yard and tell him to send a uh, mechanic out and look at it. I'd make the argument like y'all are trying to get rid of me anyways. Y'all might as well send a mechanical guy out here because that's what's going to happen whenever y'all get rid of me with the Safe Freight Act not getting passed. Oh, look here. PSR is positive shareholder reaction. I mean, that's good. I could possibly do something like that. I really would have to pick the brain. I could call some old train masters and ask them what they asked. Maybe that would help. So we had one Jeep, and that was in the cater yard, and we had to work one local with it. It was made for one local, and it was because it turned so tight. So if we look in, I'm gonna go back to the cater yard. You'll actually see, and there's some. I'll tell you a crazy story about this place. Um, I forgot the name of the customer, but it's just a recycling place. What in the world has happened? Okay. So if you look right here next to my M lead, so this is my local lead. If you go down right here, look how sharp this turn is. So we actually had to have a Jeep to run this. There's a derail right here at the derail. And so this road right here, there are no lights at all. And we had several trucks running to the side of the train. J-Rat, good night, man. Uh, I'll be back on here next week. So if you have any questions or just, yeah, shoot me an email if you need anything. My pleasure, buddy. Have a good night. But we had several trucks and trains. I mean, not several cars hit the side of the rail car and lived. Lived. We'd have to get out here with flares. Me and a guy named Chase out here's waving our hands like crazy, trying to get these idiots to stop flying down this highway at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh man, it was nerve wracking. We'd shove back. There was a little track right here. Then there's another little spare track that went. I think it went to the left back here. So yeah, right here. We'd shove some cars back in there. Uh, Jeremiah, yeah, my paycheck. You'll generally make more on the road because most of the time, unless it really depends. When we went to Chattanooga, I'd be stuck in that dorm for 24 plus hours, and you start getting detention pay after 16. So you'd make your $240 to $280 for the trip. Then you'll make 8 hours pay there. Then you make 10 to 12 hours pay back home, and it equaled out to be between one trip would pay between like, yeah, I'd say $600 to $800. And on a local, I'd make around either between 180 to 220 a day. But I only worked 5 days a week. Oh, Andrew, nah, it's not too bad, man. Just go in there and be yourself, and just let them know you're there to work. You're looking for a career, and and you know, you're ready to get after it. And you know, I think you'll be all right. Like I said, if I can do this, anybody can do this. I'm not. I didn't even graduate high school. I got a GED. Not the smartest person in the world. Wiki, do I think I just saw your comment? Do I think two people crews are done? No, I don't. I think so. With this new infrastructure bill that they passed last month. Huh? No. Why? Why? What you doing? I'm sitting here talking. You want to come and say hello? All my railroad buddies. You gonna say hey? No. Wiki, my bad. So they passed an infrastructure bill last month, and it was passed, but they took out the part where it mandated the engineer and conductor. But there's going to be revisions, and I think the revision, hopefully, it will be in the revision this fall. So fingers crossed if they get it passed. Oh man, everybody wants to know how much conductors make. I don't blame them. I did too. No, I had no idea this channel was going to do anything like this. So I've got to be more active on it and make way more videos. I have a lot of ideas, and I need to upload at least one a week. Week, yeah, no, this is like this is like a passion. So it's almost I don't mind doing these videos. I can literally talk about railroad all day. I could live stream. I kid you not for 12 hours and talk about this crap all day long. Like I said, I just had the hunch last year. I was like, I'm just gonna make some videos just to see what happens. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of people that really want to know some stuff. I have a lot I can teach. I spent 7 years of my life doing this crap. Mock it. I can. I need to make some phone calls and see if I can get some questions that they answer. I might even be able to help too if I go to the Nucor interview training. I think that will help too because I mean Nucor is just as big as the railroad. Really, that's interesting, Andrew. I've wondered. I've even thought about possibly having creating some type of training, not for money, but just creating some type of training on some website, uh, strictly free because I'm not doing this for money. Uh, but I just need to get a general course, really know what to go by because there's a lot you have to learn. You have to learn your brake test, your inspections, your hazmat training, and I'm sure a lot of that, you know, you have to be certified or you have to have some type of license or something like that to do it. Nicholas, yes, a lot of the PTI drivers are really weird. Some of them smell really, or the vans smell really weird. But then again, you have some of that are pretty cool too. We had some cool drivers. We had some weird ones too, though. And it's so hard to sleep. So like, I cannot sleep in a van because I'm scared they're gonna wreck. And a lot of the guys will just go to sleep, and I'm like, man, I can't do that, man. Jeremiah, the only people that wanted the locals were the old heads who wanted to be at home. Oh, Daryl, that's right. Yeah, Rail Crew Express. Yeah, that's the CSX and the BN stuff. NS had PTI. But the guys chasing money were always on the road. And that was most of your young guys. Fits. The drivers will take you from your washroom to your locomotives in the yard, or they will drive you from the washroom to the train you're going to relieve, or they could drive you from terminal to terminal. They won't take you to your house though, but they can drive you from terminal to terminal. So, like for instance, they call it a deadhead. That's one of those terms you'll hear a lot. Um, let's say I get called to relieve a train. Let's say a train died or a crew hit their 12-hour mark and they're going to Chattanooga. They'll call an extra board engineer, extra board conductor, and we go to the washroom. The van's waiting for us. We jump in the van. They drive us to the locomotive. We get on the locomotive, tone up dispatcher, told her we're there on the head end, ready to go whenever we can. Get track authority. Go ahead and take the train to Chattanooga. When we get to Chattanooga, we'll tie up, and then we'll deadhead back home. And deadhead really means the van will just take us from Chattanooga, drive us all the way back to Muscle Shoals, and then we'll go home. And you get 2 days pay for that. Yeah, yep, good old PTI. They still use them. I say we. I'm not there anymore. Yeah, they still use them. I think CSX down here in Birmingham they use a rail crew. Andrew, I have ordered pizza. Um, I was on a local actually, and we got told to relieve a train that didn't make it to Chattanooga. Me and Mike, his name was Mike Hill. We got on the train, and this train was like super urgent, right? The dispatcher's like, "We need to get you on this train and get you to Chattanooga as soon as possible." We get on the train, and the dispatcher's like, "Yeah, you're going to see 5 before you can leave. We're going to see 5 trains." And I was like, "Okay, well, I haven't ate nothing," so I ordered Domino's. Oh, Alliance, that is true. I never did ride a train back to a terminal, but yeah, that is true. You can, yeah, if all else fails, like bad weather, they'll put you on a locomotive. You'll ride back. Jeremiah, the only yards I have worked in is Muscle Shoals, which is my terminal, my main terminal I hired out of. Decatur Yard, which is on our route, is going to be the Memphis East, and then Birmingham. And then we had Atala Yard, which is connected to the AGS, and Bessemer Yard, also connected to the AGS. Uh-uh. No. Why are you eating everything, goofy kid? Nuh-uh. Oh. Oh, why are you putting everything in your mouth? I got this kid right here. No, you can't. You can't push that button. No, no. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. You guys who hired Jeremiah, they can break. There's really nothing to changing a knuckle. They're just heavy. There's some few tricks. Quit, goofy. There's a few tricks you can do to keep that knuckle lock from falling on you while you put a knuckle in. And I really plan on making a video on that too. It'd be a really easy one, but a really beneficial one for whenever you go to school to learn how to do this stuff. But yeah, they can break, and they're no different than any other knuckle on like a rail car. They're all the same. Well, they're not. There's 2 different types of knuckles, but they all do the same thing. Oh yeah, you're still well. As far as I know, Otto, we were still paid to be deadhead. It was a day's pay, unless. Well, I mean, if you're deadheading from, like, let's say, take a train from point A to Chattanooga, then you deadhead home. If you deadhead from terminal to terminal, it was a day's pay. Um, but you are paid from whenever you go on duty to whenever you tie up, whether you're in a van or on a locomotive or whatever. Mm-mm-mm. Weirdest thing? Oh, Daryl, that's a loaded question. I don't even know if I should say that. Tell y'all this story, but I'm already sitting here looking at the river. Um, all right. So look, we had to cross this bridge right here. This is CSX. No, this is Norfolk Southern's track, but CSX used to cross. But anyways, if whenever you come across right here, this is CSX track breaking off to the left. This is our track breaking off to the right. And if you look, I don't know if it's gonna be able to show it, if it'll show it, but there is a little road right here, and right here there's a little like a deck. overlooking the river. This is at full pull. Normally the water's all the way up here. Me and the engineer were creeping through here because the speed limit over this bridge, I believe, if I remember correctly, was 25. And we were just creeping through here, I think because we had an approach signal up here at the side, or we were going in the hole right here. And the engineer said, Joey, look over here outside this window. And I looked, and it was a couple. The girl had zero clothes on, and the guy had zero clothes on, and they were getting after it. That is by far the weirdest thing I have ever seen. And it wasn't like they were trying to hide it. They were right here, like right next to the track. It was crazy. And I was like, am I dreaming or something? That's not real. There's no way this is real. And yeah, it was real. And what did my engineer do? He hit the horn and was like screaming, woo, yeah! My first year I made 54, but I also took a lot of time off. That wasn't my first full year. That was no, that was my first full year. Yeah, my first full year, but I took a lot of time off, and I was in the middle of a transfer also. You got to think I worked from January until October. I worked 10 months. I made 54,000, and then I transferred to Birmingham. And when I was still training from October until January. Then I was marked up. Yeah, that was pretty wild. That was pretty wild. Now, the craziest thing I've ever had happen. Dude, I'm in here talking. I'm in here still streaming. I'll be done in a second. But the weirdest thing I ever had happen. Huh? Okay. Bye-bye. Night-night. Okay. See you in the morning. No, sorry. But the scariest thing I've ever had happen. It's like, I don't know if y'all may have not all been in here last time, but I have never hit nobody, thankfully. But there's a sighting, I mentioned it earlier, called Pride. Here's a yard. I'm trying to remember exactly where it's at. It's going towards Memphis. So we come out right here. We go this way. We go through 2 tracks. Let me find the where's the highway at? We don't cross the river. There we go. 2 tracks. Come down this way. All right, here we go. We're about to hit the highway. Here's the highway right here. And Pride signal and sighting is right here, I believe. Where's it at? Yeah, okay, so here we go. It was the scariest thing that's ever happened in my life, and it freaked me out, and it was crazy how it all happened. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, so it was Friday night. We were on a loaded coal train. So right here where this signal is, this is Pride signal. This is all downhill, and our speed limit was 55 miles an hour. So you can kind of see, you know what, kind of look right here. Oh, that's great. That's really good. You can actually see what the heck is going on. So if you look, let me go down. Because this isn't where he jumped the thing. All right, I'm just glad y'all can see that. Okay, so we were coming into this signal, so it doesn't even look like it, but this is actually downhill right here, right? And you can see this ravine. So we were coming towards me. So we were coming from this way, coming this way. Running 55 miles an hour on a loaded coal train, 40 million pounds. And we had a LET, a locomotive engineer trainee. His name was Blake, and our engineer was named Jeff. Like I said, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we saw 2 sets of headlights coming down this highway, and we didn't think anything of it. You know, we're just whatever, just hanging around, cruising, and all of a sudden, the headlights shoot. Okay, so we're going downhill, and the headlights shoot directly into the windshield of our locomotive, and we all screamed. Kid you not? I wish I had this on video. I promise I'm not lying. We all screamed, "Holy shit!" All 3 at the same time, like we practiced it. Like it was all coarse, like what do you call it? Not coarse shredded. Like it was all whatever. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. This guy landed. I kid you not. He jumped. I don't know what happened. I guess they were racing and somebody T-boned or like clipped him, like pit maneuver. But he jumped off this ravine and landed like right here next to the tracks. And I'm talking about holy. I thought he was dead. I thought we were gonna kill him. Um, that was the scariest thing I've ever happened in my life, and that was Blake's first time ever on this. On this end, he worked on the AGS going to Birmingham. This was on the Memphis West. He'd never been here. It was crazy. It was wild. That was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me, and that's all it took. uh, Jeremiah, if they put the same time, it's up to the management to approve or deny it, but they'll approve it. They should approve it pretty soon whenever you do put it in. If there's any problems, you'll still have plenty of time to put other days in. Nicholas, it wasn't too hard for me to transfer, but it was really due to it was called a it wasn't temporary transfer. It was called a hardship transfer. So uh, we were going through some things. Our family was, and I just needed to get back home, but I still wanted to work. So they actually let us. They actually let me come home. And but from what I've been told, it's a pain in the butt to actually transfer. I've actually had no paranormal stories, thankfully. At least not that I can think of. The only really scary story I had was getting chased by a bobcat. Or not getting chased. I shouldn't say chased. That's the wrong word. Being followed by a bobcat up here, off of where's this? There it is. Right here on this siding is actually where the train was. And so the train came way up here. It was a long train. And I had to inspect all of it. It had been sitting for like 6 or 7 hours. And when I was up here, when I hit the EOT, I turned around, and was walking back. I heard something creeping. I shone my flashlight, and it was a bobcat, and he was walking real low to the ground, like stalking me almost. It was weird, and I didn't have a pistol on me. Um, but yeah, after that, I started carrying a pistol. But I've never had any paranormal stories. I've been told some crazy stories with like homeless guys riding in trains, like in locomotives, and we used to give a lot of water and stuff to some guys that live close to the tracks. We used to give them crew packs, which is like toilet paper and stuff to help them wipe their butt. I'm sure that was nice. Probably helped them out a little bit. Yeah, we had them right next to the yard. As soon as you come out of the yard, there's a bridge. I forgot what the name of that signal was. Right. The bridge. Where next that bridge? Right here. This is where they would stay. They lived like right in this little wooded area. That'd be right in here. Now look. You gonna let me drag right there and look? Well, you can see the spray paint. Nicholas, yeah, I've had a train go into a emergency a lot. Um, Alliance firearms are not permitted. It's not a strict enforcement though. It's kind of like one of those train masters know, and just keep it in your bag, keep it tucked away where nobody can see it, and whenever you need it, pull it out. But I've never been questioned. I've been approached by train masters, and I had it on my hip, and nothing was ever said. So it's just kind of like one of those things. Yeah, I've had a lot of trains go into emergency though, mostly due to bad EOTs or dragging your equipment. Um, but yeah, the best one I had was indicator crossing that bridge I was talking about, and our signal went from clear to red or clear to stop, and we were like 20 feet off the signal, and my engineer Jeremy at the time freaked out, and it shot the train in emergency, and I had to walk that joker. And you talking about this one I had just started, or after, not when I just started. It was after I've been on local the whole time, and I finally got put on the extra board, so I was on the road. I was still pretty new, like 6, 7 months in, and Jeremy was like, "Oh man, Joey, you're fired. We're fired. There's nothing we can do." Man, we just shot the train emergency. PTC shot the train in emergency. You know, that's it. And he said, but we still got to walk the train. So I got out and started walking the train, waiting for dispatcher came in, said, yeah, train master will be down there in just a second. And think Jim Ellison is his name, by the way, the train master in Decatur I worked with. They said Jim's going to show up. And so I'm walking the train, nervous wreck. And then I come back, I clump on the head end, and Jeremy could tell that I was freaking out. And he started laughing, and he said, what's the matter, Cobb? And I said, man, I just got this job. I ain't trying to get fired. And he started laughing. He said, we ain't going to get fired, man. He said, it's nothing we did. It's just a computer. And I said, oh, I got an engineer and a comedian. Okay, I see how it is. So I did everything I could to get him back over that time. Yeah, like I say, if you don't show it and I don't know about don't use it. I would only use it if I really had to, if you work in some really, really shady areas, but it's really just to protect myself. Yeah, you'll be all right. Yeah, the ballast feels like sand. Not really, no. It does move under your feet, but to be completely honest with you, most people walk on the track. I know that's a no-no. You're not supposed to. Um, but it is a lot easier. So definitely at night, like we would lock ourselves into the siding. I'd throw the switchback, lock it, clear up our track authority, and I'd take off walking down. I'd be walking in the middle of the main line with my flashlight off, because I mean I could see the train coming from miles away, and I can hear them on my radio too. So I'll just get out of the way if they were coming. But for the most part, I would always just walk on the main line and just walk on cross ties. Yeah, you could definitely buy a house within a year. Absolutely. Depending on where you live in the states, you could possibly even qualify for a USDA loan, which is zero down payment if it's out in a rural area. Spooner, best piece of graffiti. I saw your comment a second ago. Let me see if I can find it real quick. This is back when I worked for Road and Rail, and me and Ivan is his name. We worked together. We were on the mechanical side, and he used to take pictures of this stuff, of the graffiti we saw. And we saw some really pretty cool stuff. And y'all may have even seen, I don't know if y'all have ever seen this, but there's this thing that's always floating around on these rail cars, and it's called Freight Bandit. And it's everywhere. I don't know if y'all have ever seen it, but if next time y'all see some rail cars, you'll see the Freight Bandit. And just so y'all know what the Freight Bandit thing looks like. Look, everybody's got pictures of them. This is the Freight Bandit right here. You'll see it, I promise. Next time you see some auto wrecks or something go by, you'll see it. Where's the pictures of that graffiti though? I want to find it. A long time ago. So here's one of them. It's pretty cool. Look at those Simpsons. Yeah, Lions. That kind of boils down to personal preference, or like money wise. You know, some people have a cushion, a bigger cushion than others. But I have never had a car payment, and you know, not that there's anything wrong with a new car, but my family owns a mechanic shop, so there's really no need for me to buy a new car. People buy new cars for luxury and dependability, or being dependable. And I have a shop that's 5 miles down the road from my house. If I need to go to, I can. This isn't the only one though. Let me find. That's Ivan, by the way. Let's see. He'd probably be laughing right now if he knew that I was showing y'all his pictures. Uh, Albums, cover photo. I think it was on his cover photos. No. See, this is the NS Yard. This is one of the locomotives yard. Oh, where they're at? I need to find. I know they're in here somewhere. So Spencer, Spencer, one of the old training, one of the old instructors. I'll show you his profile in case y'all get him. He's crazy and he's goofy. He's wild. His name's Spencer Tinsley. He's an ex-Marine. Um, this is him on the left. This is Spencer. He works in Birmingham. This is him at conductor training school. Um, and he just sent me a message. You can read it right here. I'm not gonna say what he said. Uh, he said, "Let me get on there. I DGAF. You know, I give zero. You know what? Yeah, he's a great guy. This was the other instructor we had. I can't remember his name. Will was our other instructor. Will Bryan. I can't remember this guy's name. I know he's friends with him. Will, he is for any of y'all that's going to be working in Chattanooga, Will right here is your yard master. Me and Will are still friends. Still talk. See, I got connections all across the board. Anyways, let me answer some questions. I've been told. Okay, so yeah, furlough is what I don't want to happen. A lot of reviews I've seen say the NS management is terrible, and they hire you to fire you. I don't really believe that. Andrew, they used to hire. I would argue that they did hire to fire, but I'll tell you this: they only bothered me one time. Yeah, they do play hardball. I only had one bother me one time. Now they will hide in the bushes. They will hide in the trees. You know, whatever. I've had even Nick Mullins hide on top of an intermobile car. But they only bothered me once, and I think the reason being is I always try to work as if I'm being watched. You can call it character or whatever you want to, but I try to do the right thing, and I try to go by their goofy rules. There's some rules I didn't go by. Like sometimes I wouldn't go by them, but for the most part, you'll know if they're out there. So me and my engineer indicator, Egg, we had a code word. I think I mentioned this in one of the older videos. Our code words was "It's getting cold outside," and if he heard me say that, or if he told me that, I knew there was a train master around, and that's when I knew I needed to be on my game. So I would start doing everything right. We had this thing called C102s, which y'all are going to hear about. C102s nothing more than a brake test. C102s, 3-step. You have to say 3-step the right way. Conductor requesting 3-step for the NS 2001 over. All that baloney. And, just do all that stuff. And they never left. They never bothered me. But if they will try, they will test you for sure. Yeah, they will hide in bushes to try and catch you off guard. Absolutely. So the best thing I know to say there is just work as if you're being watched. Yeah, I'm not sure, Amit, if they use it for a tax write-off or what. I don't know. I don't get it. It's those train masters are strange. Do you still get paid for furlough? Do you get to draw railroad employment? It's like $780 every 2 weeks. Nothing on code vaccination. Well, we probably know what's coming down the pipe on that one there, Daryl, don't we? I'm sure. I don't know. I know in Alabama they can't. Right now, our attorney general they can't force anybody to get them, but they might be coming. I don't know. I was asked today from our management in Nucor. His name's Jason. He said, "You gonna get that vaccination?" And I know this is very controversial. Uh, and with me being younger, I was just like, "Why? I have no need to get that." I think it works great, and I think there's a definitely a time and place for it. Definitely older people. Like, but that's completely up to you and to you alone, and it is none of your business. He just kind of shook his head like this. I just walked off. Why you asked me that? Yeah, that's one of those touchy subjects it seems to be right now. I don't know. I see more employers forcing it or trying. Newcore just has just highly, um, like I don't know, like they want everybody to get it. Right now I'm doing the live videos on Thursdays or Fridays. I can do them more if y'all would like. I don't mind. I can do them every day, but I'm not trying to take up all y'all's time. Like I understand we all have lives and I know y'all have lives and have stuff to do, so I'm not trying to dip into a lot of y'all's time. I know I've been on here for gosh, I don't know, probably 2 hours now, hasn't it? I haven't even looked, paid attention. What does it say? I don't even know how long it's been. I don't even see it on my timer. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Wiki, I believe that. I've been told from a friend of mine that works for CN that they have to keep mask on inside the locomotive while they're on the road going out of town. That may be the case too. And the flip side of that is they got cameras on you, so they kind of know if you're not. I don't know how that is. Uh, just one of those things, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll probably hire by the tens of people. It seems like every hiring session they're going to hire a lot. So when I hired in Sheffield, which is a pretty small yard, um, I was one of the first people hired, and they hired 40. I think it was 47 people behind me within a year. Yep, I will as soon as I think my training for new core interview is probably going to be in the next month or two. So I'll see if I can do something like that. Maybe help out. Announced a week ago, new hires will need to get it, and current employees will have to do weekly testing. Or, oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. There's some strange old head engineers, so it's kind of like one of those things. Like, if you don't care, the engineer may care, and if the engineer don't care, well, you may care, which that's completely fine too. That's just one of those things. Whatever your viewpoint is, you may be working with somebody that has a different opinion. So you kind of, it is what it is. I'm the easygoing type. Like, if I work with somebody and they're scared, I'll just wear a mask. Or if vice versa, if I was scared and they didn't wear a mask, I would just put my mask on. And I don't know. I'm one of the easiest guys to get along with when it comes to controversial topics and all that good stuff. I try to stay away from all of it, but vaccinations, it's made its way to the railroad, and it definitely needs to be discussed. So it is what it is. I guess I'm wearing a mask at Nucor. I've got to even get tested Tuesday because my mother has it, and she got tested positive today, but she's mild symptoms. She's just got a cough. So Nucor's like, oh, you gotta get tested before you come back to work Tuesday night. And I was like, crap. Okay. Oh man, 9:45. Well, I know I've taken up a lot of y'all's time. I'm just sitting here rambling and just talking, and I know it's Thursday night. I know we all got work tomorrow or tomorrow night, something like that. I will get off here and leave you guys alone. But I do appreciate every single one of y'all being here. Is it hard to build a train? No, it's not hard. They normally give you a switch list, and all you're doing is counting down cars, coupling up, lacing air hoses, cutting your air in, making your cuts, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's not hard. It's like clockwork, Jeremiah. Once you do it 100 times, it's like, ride a bicycle. You have no problem doing it. Chip Slayer, what's up, man? I've heard that conductor position may be eliminated. However, there is no solid time on that. Should I be concerned? Chip Slayer, so I made a video on this. It's actually, you'll see right here. It says good and bad news, two-man crews, and then the one before that, big news for conductors. So they passed a infrastructure bill last month, and they actually took there's a part in there where it was going to mandate a conductor and an engineer on the head end at all times. Well, they actually took that out of the bill, and they passed the bill. But there's supposed to be revisions coming up in the fall, and we're going to hope and pray to whoever your God is that they pass with the Safe Freight Act, pretty much. And so we'll fingers crossed that they get a mandate for an engineer and a conductor on the head ends at all times. But Champ, I wouldn't worry about it right now. The reason being is PTC's still sorry. There's still a lot of bugs. Chip optimizer still needs to be optimized better. We're in a huge conductor shortage, but at the same time, I can't sit here and say that I'm 100% accurate because you never know what can happen. But we'll just have to wait and see, unfortunately. Lions, have a good one, man. Yeah, appreciate all you guys being here. I'll get on here and stream sometime next week. I'll probably try and get on here. I'll probably get on here Friday. I'm not going to work Thursday. Took off work to go fish, and I'll probably be on here. I'll probably be on here Thursday or Friday. We'll see. So to change a glad hand, it'll either be absolutely destroyed or it'll be leaking air. And then you can just change the gasket if it's just leaking air. I'm gonna make a video on that. Sure. For sure, I'll make a video on that one. Alright, guys. I'm gonna get off here. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate y'all being here. If y'all have any questions, send me an email, send me a message on Facebook, comment on here, whatever y'all need to do, get in touch with me. Until then, I'll see you guys on my video. I'm gonna try and post, I don't know, in a couple of days or whatever. Bits, yeah, no problem, man. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days on the next video I got, and then of course on the stream next week. That's a shoot for Thursday, something like that. Yeah, that's a shoot for Thursday. Good night, Andrew. MFT, good night, buddy.